Okay, I think we can do this now. Hello, 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 everybody. Hello, hello. I'm Dan, your friendly fishmonger at dansfish.com. We do this every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, usually with much crisper audio and video, but the good camera decided not to work today. I think Bob broke it when he was here. I'm just kidding, Bob. Yeah, couldn't get the good camera to work. Been fiddling with that. It was doing fine, and then like 10 minutes before the stream, it suddenly stopped showing video on the OBS. So I have no idea what happened, but hopefully, let's see. Try that. Hopefully the audio is at least understandable. But it's coming through a cheap Logitech camera that we're using to stream today, since the nice camera is is out of commission. Ryan Stone on Canadian Gaming just got a bra ad. What can I say here? I'm here to help, Ryan. I'm here to help. It's not a bra, it's a bro. Best Seinfeld ever. All right, we're going to start with our typical shipping report. It's a good one. There were some losses, but we made progress. And we are going to do our giveaway, tell you all about that fish. And then I saw some exciting news about merch and about a special fish that I just listed for sale on the website. So we'll talk about that, and then we'll get to all your questions and comments. We'll see how it goes with this mediocre sound and this definitely fuzzy video. But here we are. We're just going to make it happen. So, without further ado, shipping report. Last week when I reported to you, we were at 98.41% success rate, as reported by our customers, that in the last 12 months, that's the number of fish that have arrived in good shape to our customers. I'm happy to report that as of today, we are now at 98.42%, so we improved by 1/100%. Now, I know there were a few losses. There was some Sipalawini that had a couple issues, and then there were a couple marble hatchets that had some issues, and a few other things. So sorry to those customers. Hate it when that happens. But all in all, we're well under 1% losses in the last week, or we would not have made improvements towards that 99%. So it's never fun to lose fish, but statistically, we're doing a really excellent job, and I'm proud of that. If you did have any issues, please reach out to us. Let us know so we can take care of you. All right, so that is the shipping report. This is the first day that we could ship without heat packs. So that's exciting because heat packs are necessary, but they ain't no fun. It takes a lot of work to tape them up, wrap them, get them on each box. You know, it just makes the packing of the box take quite a bit longer. So it's really nice when we get a break and don't have to use heat packs. While on the other camera, this shirt looked okay, but on this cheap camera, it's like way overexposed. Oh well, nothing I can do about it now. We're just going to be a little shiny today. Just a little more shiny than usual on the shirt and on top of the head. All right, let's talk about the fish that we are giving away. Okay, let me bring something up. For those on the podcast, just bringing up an image right now to share. Okay. So here we have a beautiful fish. There's nothing wrong with this fish. Nice purple sheen, a little bit of blue. This is your natural form of the Kerri Tetra. Okay, sometimes they call them blue Kerri Tetras. Sometimes they call them emperor Kerri Tetras. How do you say it? Impactes kerrii is the name of the species. Really nice little fish in its own right. I like them. They're one of my favorites of all the tetras. They don't get too big, they're not jerks, and they're purty. But there's been a variant produced in aquariums which is also stunning, and it's the giveaway for this week. It is this. It is the super blue Emperor Kerri Tetra. And they get, here's our picture, they get this nice intense blue. Here's an even better picture. It shows some of the red coming in. Females have an orange adipose fin, males do not, so this would be a male. See if I can find a clear picture of the female super blue. The females are just as pretty. They're just as blue, in my opinion, as the males. Not really seen one. But anyhow, if you can just imagine a blue Kerri Tetra just with extended blue all over its body, that's what these fish look like. They are stunning. Now, when they start off, they're a little less blue. So this here would be a younger one. They're more dark than anything else. But as they grow, they're going to turn a brilliant blue. So extremely pretty fish. And, you know, the wild type is beautiful as well. And there's a lot of times, I'm just seeing if there's another good picture. A lot of times when we produce variants in the hobby, I don't think that they're nicer than the wild type. I think the wild type is better. But this is an exception. In this case, I actually like the super blue as much as the wild type Kerri, and maybe even better actually. They really are stunning fish. They don't seem to be any less hardy than your wild types. They're a hardy fish, they're super easy to feed, they're peaceful. I would like to give you special instructions, but there are none necessary, except for keep them in a group. These guys like to be in groups, the bigger the better. If you keep them in a large tank and you have a good amount of them in there, you'll see a whole different range of behavior than if you put like 6 in a 20 gallon. But 6 in a 20 gallon is beautiful as well. So it's hard to go wrong with these guys. They eat everything. Flakes, pellets, rapashi, live food, frozen food. They're not picky. And they absolutely shimmer. So not a lot of like special care for them. They're super hardy. So if you would like to enter to win a group of those, you can do so here. Hashtag SoBlue, that's hashtag SOBLUE. And enter that in the chat, and a little later on, we will draw a winner. It could be you. All right, so that's the Super Blue Emperor Kerri Tetra. Now, I would like to talk about merch. In honor of the occasion, I took all the time to very skillfully tape a couple t-shirts up here. That's all the time I had. I didn't have time to run home and grab a hanger, so gaff tape to the rescue. But anyway, I wanted to show the merch a little bit because we've solved a big problem. We used to sell on Teespring, and it would sometimes take 6 weeks for people to get their orders. Like, Teespring just was not good at fulfilling their orders. The quality's fine, but it's not really, really great. And it's pretty darn expensive. So Becca's been working to find a better solution, and she's found one. And we have created our own little Shopify store where you can find the merch. And I think that'll eventually be hooked up to our website and to the YouTube channel store. Right now, the Teespring stuff's still on the YouTube channel store because we literally got this all finalized. We got the tax information in so that we could sell online for this and everything about half an hour ago. So it's still hot off the press, but here it is. And the link to it for now is merch.dansfish.com. I'll link it right here in case you want to look at these. Much better quality, much cheaper. Like, these hats are only $22.99. I think, well, let's just take a look-see. On Teespring, how much were they? Let's see here. Was it like 34 bucks? Channel store. What did a hat used to run? $33.99. That's what a hat used to run. Now the hats are $22.99. So we're able to save you over 10 bucks on them. So, and they're better quality. So we bought a few, we put them through quite a few washer and dryer cycles, and the quality's higher. So better quality, cheaper price, and a quick turnaround. You should get these much quicker than you were getting your things through Spring. So sorry about Spring. It's the only platform that we had access to that was easily connected to YouTube to be on the YouTube store. Now we're going to do that by connecting Shopify to the YouTube store. So we had to find us a printer where you could order the shirts, put them on Shopify, and then attach that to the YouTube store. So it, is a little more complicated, but I think it's totally going to be worth it because the price is much better. And I want to show you a couple of the new things. I love something. Look at this. So we've got the whole breeding is pleasure line. For those that don't know where that came from, there was a live stream quite a while ago where I was asked, what's the most pleasurable part of fish keeping for me? And my response was, I love breeding fish. For me, breeding is pleasure. And then I paused a moment and realized what I had said, breeding is pleasure. And everyone in the stream had a good time with it. And it became a thing. So breeding is pleasure just became a thing because of that moment. And people were making stickers about it. People were making stuff about it and sending it to me. It's kind of fun, just that, when you say something and then you hear what you said and you're like, oh. It's one of those moments where we had fun with it. So that's why we have the breeding is pleasure line. And then the other one, we like them fat and sassy, because I'm always talking about getting fish that are fat and sassy, right? We try to get our fish healthy and feed them a lot and get them fat and sassy before we send them out. So that's our goal. And so we have the t-shirt about that, which I think is great. I like that shirt quite a bit. And then there's some other things as well. But go ahead and browse that link if you're interested in high quality merch that is much less expensive than it was and will get to you much quicker. So thank you, Becca, for all your work on that. Much appreciated. Okay, last thing before we get to your questions and comments. There's a fish that I absolutely love, but I tend to avoid bringing in because they're a difficult one to source healthy, frankly. I've tried a couple times since we moved in the warehouse. Each time has been more or less a failure, and so I've held off. Finally found someone that did a good job. We brought in some from a new supplier. They did great for us. We had the vet check them. They were great. They did have nematodes, but that's easy to fix. So the vet did an examination, said they look fine except for they have nematodes. We treated them for nematodes, no problem. Cleared them up. Didn't have any losses, as far as I recall anyway. I don't think so. And sent them to customers. And so far, our customers, as far as I know, Johnny, correct me if I'm wrong, but have not reported any problems with this fish. And this is a fish with a reputation for being really difficult. But it's one of the prettiest fish out there. It's one of my favorites. So since that went well, I've ordered some more from that supplier. And same story, came in great, rock solid. We've treated them for nematodes, of course, and they're ready to go. And they are the samurai gourami. This is a picture of the female that is colored up for breeding. By the way, we've already got some females coloring up. Just in the short time they've been here, they're already coloring up. They really do look this good. This is not like a super Photoshop picture or anything. They are that stunning when they color up. And they color up frequently and they hold it for a long time. Once the females settle in, they tend to turn this color. The reason, okay, so that's the female, very beautiful. Here's the male, and he's got some eggs in his little buccal pouch here in his throat. But look at the male, kind of a brown fish, right? Well, that's odd because usually in the fish world, it's the male that's all colorful, trying to attract the female. Here we have a really pretty female and a standard male. He looks like a leaf. He's not going to get caught. Why? Well, because in this particular species, it's the female that courts the male. It's the female that instigates the breeding. And it's the male who does the work. He gathers the eggs in his mouth and he incubates them until they're fully developed, and then he lets them out of his mouth to go about their business. But he's the one that's taking the risk because he's holding the eggs, he's not eating during the entire incubation period and all that stuff. So when your typical bettas, like your bubble nest bettas, for example, let's just look at betta embellus. Okay, see if we can find a clear picture of a male and female. So these males are stunning, right? Really beautiful fish. And I want to say this is a female, but I actually think that this is a male, probably not, that's freshly imported and hasn't settled in enough. Because that anal fin's kind of long and pointy, and so is that. But this is more or less what the females look like. Here we go. That looks like a female betta embellus to me right now. Oh, here. See that short anal fin? Here we go. Here's a female betta embellus. And compare that to a male. Even a male that isn't fully colored up. And then to a male that is fully colored, right? Well, in most species, the male tries to convince the female to breed. But in this case, it's the opposite. So because of that, it's reversed. The females are the most colorful one, which is just so interesting. How often does that happen? So we have some really nice ones. They're very healthy. If this is a fish that you've been avoiding because of its reputation or because you've tried before and had issues, I think they're going to do well for you. Would anyone that bought them from us in the last month, that previous group from the same supplier, would you chime in and let me know how they're doing? If there were any losses, let us know. If they're doing great, let us know. I'd like to hear if I'm correct in what I'm saying. Check me if I'm wrong, but I think these are going to just thrive for people. They're already picking at flakes. They're already starting to eat massivore pellets, and they definitely eat frozen bloodworms and live baby brine shrimp. So they're transitioning to prepared foods without any problem. So great little fish. I'm very excited to have them. And finally from a source that seems to do it right. I have one other announcement. Yeah, I think I'm going to say it now. I was maybe going to wait till next week, but I'm too excited. Okay. One of our goals here, right, is to make sure that fish are treated humanely and to make sure they're healthy before we send them to our customers. And we've done about all we can on our own to make that happen. We've had a veterinarian on retainer to help us with this, but they're not in the state. There are no aquatic veterinarians I have access to in the state of Wyoming. So they're out of state. So what we have to do is if there's a fish we can't figure out or that's struggling, we pack a few up and we mail them to them. So there's a couple days right there. And then they take them, they do their workup and things. And a few days later, we hear their results. But there's a lag. Sometimes you need the help like now, right? And the other thing is that veterinarian has not seen the fish in their aquariums. They're not seeing how they're acting. They're not in person being able to observe the fish, see the environment, see what's going on. So there's a limited amount of information that veterinarian can work with. We've gone about as far as we can towards trying to get the fish healthy and make them good for our customers with what we have, which is us and a veterinarian that consults with us but is not present. I'm thrilled to announce that we're going to have a veterinarian in residence starting tomorrow. So there's a veterinarian that's going to come up and spend 3 days a week with us here at Dan's Fish and help us work with the fish, help us do workups on any fish that's struggling, diagnose actual issues so we know what to treat instead of just shotgunning medicines and giving it our best guess. I am so excited about this. As far as I know, will be the only fish store that has that kind of thing. In fact, as far as I know, I don't even know any wholesalers that do that. So I think this is going to be a huge leap forward. Again, we've kind of gone as far as we can on our own and in our current situation. We need help to get even better at that. Our mission is to get better at that, right? So to make that happen, yeah, that's the logical next step. So I'm absolutely thrilled. I cannot wait. I've been buying microscopes and dissection kits and We have a camera that attaches to the microscope, so I'm hoping that we can take some really informative video, like track the entire thing. Here's a fish that's not doing well. Okay, let's do a workup. Okay, let's look at it under the microscope. Okay, what are we finding? What's the diagnosis? Or this is one of those cases where there's no real conclusion. Like all that stuff could happen, but I couldn't be happier because honestly, I've been banging my head against the wall because I don't know how to improve anymore on my own. So I'm very excited. We'll announce who it is and everything in the next week or two, I suppose. But I want to talk to the vet and see how comfortable she is in front of the camera and all that. I don't know exactly what we're going to be doing, but I'm super glad to have a veterinarian that's going to be here in residence. That's awesome. So it says, is the sound clipping? I don't think so. At Random Arms, Jonathan is over there with the tape gun taping some stuff up. So I think what you're hearing, I hope what you're hearing. Oh no, other people are saying they hear it too. Okay, we have sound issues. Okay, let me pull this a little closer in the hopes that the mic will pick me up better, hopefully. I mean, that right there, that was just some tape being pulled out of a tape gun. Okay, let me know, folks, if sound is really bad. But yeah, that was the tape gun. I think, I hope. Like, it's as good as it's gonna get with this cheap Logitech camera and without an independent microphone. Hopefully we'll have that all fixed for next stream. I wonder if the cam link just finally went out, because the video was there and then suddenly it wasn't. So anyway, okay, here we go. Let's get to your questions and comments. So, first I want to see if anyone chimed in about, yeah, so this mic, there's nothing I can do to modulate the mic. It's just a Logitech camera, built-in mic, no settings to adjust. And I don't have a program right now that I can, like a mixing board program, that I can run it through easily on the fly and fix anything. So it's just going to be what it is for now. Okay. Let's see if anyone responded that had gotten the chocolate, not the chocolate gouramis, the samurai gouramis. I want to make sure what I'm saying is true and that people aren't like, oh no, all mine are having trouble. Okay, just looking for anyone on the podcast. I'm just scrolling to see if I can find anything. I don't see anything about samurai gouramis. Okay, all right. Okay, let's get to your questions and comments. Before we do that, though, I would like to thank my moderators for being here and helping make this stream flow. Thanks for your help. Really, really appreciate it. And with that, let's get to your questions and your comments. So scrolling up here, and the first one I can see is Shady Grady. I bought a couple of pairs of Epiplates lamodii, and they are doing great. Oh, so great. Do you have any suggestions on how to trigger them to spawn? They are beautiful purplish pink fish with spots. I love lamodii. I know that fish well. And they get big too. So that's a plus, because then you can see them better. Sometimes you just really need a drink of water. Much better. In fact, let's show people this fish, Epiplates lamodii. One of the prettiest of the Epiplates. Look at this thing. Look at that. So beautiful. It's another shot of one. Here's a shot of one. Just, yeah, it's purples and the pinks. Absolutely stunning fish. Oh, I really like that picture. That's a good picture. All right, so that's Epiplates lamodii for anyone that's wondering. Triggering them to spawn, I would say the first thing is tons of food. If you can do fruit flies, they will love you forever. They'll eat other things as well, but lots of food. Make sure that female's nice and plump. And the other thing is often when we're doing spawning mops for surface spawners like Lamodii and some of the others, a spawning mop that just drops straight down isn't all that great because I don't have a mop I can at hand. But basically, here's a mop, right? This is the cork, my wrist is the cork, and the rest is the mop, and it's floating. Well, these guys want to spawn at the surface, so all they have to work with is this tiny little bit here. Most of the stuff going down here, is kind of not where they want to spawn. So what I would suggest is find a way to make the mop go like this, or find a material that covers a lot more surface area, so they just have more places to put the eggs, more places for the eggs to hide, so the eggs don't get eaten as much. So that's one suggestion. But tons of food, and then a large water change ought to do it. I mean, they'll probably spawn whether you do a large water change or not, but if they're not spawning, I'd feed them really well for a week or two, and then do a big water change, and I bet that they'll spawn for you. As long as she's full of eggs, I'd be really really surprised if they didn't spawn. So Shady Grady, congrats on a great pickup. That's a beautiful fish. And man, I hope you raise hundreds so I can buy some from you. Tracy, yes, I'm getting ready to go on vacation for 10 days. Woohoo! So trying to prepare all the food. Is it safe to freeze dry food and brine shrimp for my nano tank? As I've got some baby clown killies. Yeah, I've frozen. I haven't freeze dried food, but I've definitely taken baby brine shrimp and frozen them before, and then fed that later. Yeah. Now, I don't know how well the clown killies will take it if they're little babies and are not used to it. I don't know how well they'll eat something that isn't moving around, and also that food's going to kind of fall to the bottom. So those are a couple of challenges. But is it safe? Yeah, I think so. I've definitely frozen plenty of baby brine shrimp in my day. I hope you enjoy your vacation. I hope your baby killies do well. My best suggestion is hopefully they're in a tank with like tons of plants and a lot of bioactivity going on. So there's just lots of little microorganisms kind of naturally present for them to graze on while you're gone. Toad Tamer, the office asked me to set up a 10-gallon with guppies. Use bacteria from another tank. A few days later, tank is cloudy. Normal, right? Carbon, Aquicure aren't cleaning it up. Any thoughts? Well, yeah, anytime you start a new tank, you could definitely get some cloudy water. Now, I don't know exactly what you mean by use the bacteria from another tank, but if you just like squeeze the filter in the tank, that'll get some bacteria in there, but it's going to still take a while for that bacteria you put in there to find surfaces to adhere to, because it's benthic, it's not free swimming, it attaches to stuff. And for it to attach and then reproduce along those surfaces. So it's still going to take a while for the tank to get seasoned and get established and mature, balanced. So yeah, I think that that's normal. I would definitely keep a tight eye on ammonia and nitrites for sure. If you have access to currently a filter that's in another well-established tank right now, and you can pull that filter and get it quickly to the office tank before the bacterial colony in it dies, that might be helpful as well. So, Toad Tamer, yeah, new tanks can get cloudy for sure, but just double check you're not getting ammonia and such. I'm just curious, how long do you keep the lights on in the fish warehouse? It depends on how late I'm working. So when I'm here working, usually the lights are on because you can't see the fish if the lights aren't on, so it's kind of hard to work with them. And usually when I'm here late, it's because I'm working with the fish. Or sometimes I turn the tank lights off and just have a little light above me here at the computer. But the lights go on at think 7 in the morning and go off at 7 at night automatically, but we're here late a lot, so we turn them back on when they go off at 7 if we're still here typically. So I wouldn't say there's any real normal photo period, just because sometimes we're here till 3 a.m., sometimes we're here till 7:30, it just depends. I think last night I was here till 11. The night before I was here till 11:30. Tonight I'm going to try to leave right after the stream, be home by maybe around 9, get a little sleep. But yeah, it really, really varies. How many black tiger Dario can I put in a 20-gallon? So many. If it's like a well-established tank and it can handle the bio load, then so many. Now, depends though on how you have the tank set up. So if you have a bajillion hiding spaces, little caves and crevices and nooks and crannies, then you can get a lot of these guys. But they each need a few little hiding spaces. My favorite way to keep these is in a tank that's got like the bottom 2/3 just choked with Java moss or something like that, that grows like halfway up the tank. Because then I can put so many in there and they'll each find a little hidey hole in the Java moss, right? They'll swim into the Java moss and claim a little territory in the Java moss. And there's so many territories available that everybody's happy. And that's my favorite way to do it. I always throw in some snails and shrimp and things to eat any food that falls down in the Java moss and gets away from the fish so it doesn't just sit in there and rot. I think that's important in that kind of setup. Scuds would do the same thing, although if the scud population gets too big, they'll eat your Java moss as well. So you have to be a little careful. But man, you could get a lot in there. Like, depending on how often you change the water and stuff, you could easily get like 50 in there if you had, like I talked about, a bunch of Java moss. But I don't know, in a 20-gallon comfortably, say you've just got like a standard planted tank with some rock work and some caves and stuff. I don't know, maybe a dozen. Yeah. Let's see what the viewer activity is. I'm sure I've missed things. I have. Leo209 says the 6 auto's doing good. They're loving the tank. I'm glad to hear it. And I know we had a problem, Leo, and I'm so sorry, but I'm glad to hear that those 6 are doing well. Kelly Foreman, congratulations on the new aquatic vet. I'm very excited to be working with the veterinarian. Spinster Sister, when will blonde koi guppies return? Love them. Well, Spinster Sister, probably in 2 weeks, because I just got some more this morning. So they should be coming in. I mean, quarantine tells all. Like, it depends on how they do in quarantine, but provided they do well and there's no unexpected issues, 2 weeks. If there's some issues, then it's probably a month, because we'll want to get the issues figured out and then give them a week or two to, be stable beyond that before we start trying to sell them. But they are absolutely beautiful, and we got these from the same supplier we got the last batch from, which is just like glowing. They are such a pretty fish. Rye Guy Outdoors has been a member for an entire month. Rye Guy, thank you so much for your membership. Really helps. Much appreciated. And with $2, he says, so excited for my eels. Dan's going to crack that code. I'm excited for you getting the eels. Everyone that's got those has been delighted. If there's anyone who's gotten the dwarf red-tailed eels from us and doesn't love them, let me know below. But I'm going to be let me know in the comments. But I'm going to be very surprised. So far, the feedback is overwhelmingly like, where have these been all my life? That kind of thing. Ginger Graves, hello Ginger, I hope you're doing well. I'm looking forward to seeing you and the Dance Fish crew on July 2nd and 3rd. Thanks for the open house event. I can't wait to see you again, Ginger. Oh, and I should mention that. Thank you for the reminder. Sometimes I'm just bad at my job and I need help. Sometimes. Let's be real. Most of the time. But here we go. Let me find that. So if you just go here to the channel, right? And then you click on the community tab, then you'll see the info here about what we're doing. We're opening the fish warehouse. Some have called it a mecca for fish keepers. For folks to come visit July 2nd and 3rd, we'll do a barbecue, we'll feed people, we'll hang out. We've got so many tanks that you could easily kill 2 days in here and still want to see more. So I think that, I don't think anyone's going to be bored. And we'll be sitting around eating and talking. And if folks are like getting antsy, then maybe we'll take a trip up in the mountains and go look for some moose, go on a moose safari, something like that. And then here's a link. If folks want to carpool, you can discuss where to meet up and all the carpool situation on that one. So that's where you can find information about the Dan's Fish Open House, 4th of July barbecue super extravaganza, which means we're going to sit around, look at fish, eat, and talk fish, basically. It's super casual. First time doing anything like this. We're kind of testing the waters. You know, hopefully one day it grows to where we also have speakers and, you know, all that kind of stuff. And it's more like a, you know, aquarium fish convention than just let's end up meeting together and chat and look at fish. But for this first one, we're going to keep it casual and just see what happens. So I was saying we'll have between probably 0 and 100 people show up, but now it looks like we'll have between 1 and 100 people show up. And I know there's actually several folks reaching out, you know, planning on making the trip, but I have no expectations. I don't know if it'll be just a couple of us or a whole big group, but I will be happy either way. So happy to see anyone that comes. And Ginger, super excited to hang out with you again. Xanadu, just showing some in-between order love. Xanadu, thank you so much. Always appreciated, never required, but we are a scrappy startup still, and every bit counts. Okay, Jacob Metzner, incredible news. This is redefining the industry. Well, I think it's an important thing. Like, even the largest wholesalers that I'm aware of don't employ an aquatic veterinarian. And I'm like, how? So, yeah. Amisa, videos of diseases, treatments, and procedures would be awesome. Yeah, I just think that there's a big lack of that, right? That's one of the areas that we just don't have information on. So, yep. And again, I need to talk to the veterinarian and see how comfortable they are with, you know, different things. But we have a camera for the microphone. I always call the microphone for the microscope. So I'm thinking we can get some pretty good stuff. Scotty the fish freak. Wow, that's huge. Congrats. Well, thanks to the vet for, you know, doing this. She's really helping us out. I mean, it's a win-win, but I'm thrilled. I can't wait. This is something I've been wanting to do for a long time. And I didn't think we could get a veterinarian. I honestly thought that we'd get like maybe a graduate student that was still studying and hadn't graduated yet or something like that. But no, we had a few veterinarians apply, and I'm excited to be working with one. Rye Guy Outdoors, so excited to get, oh, we already did that one, I think. Yeah. Can you tell us about the long fin neon rosy barbs? Yes. Bob Steenfont was here this week, and he got some really good footage of them, so they'll be coming out in his video. He said he'll try to get it done in the next week, but give him a month. We took so many hours of footage, and for some of it, there's 2 cameras. Like, it's going to take a while, I think. But it was really cool to have Bob out here to hang out with that guy again. But in the meantime, so these are fat and sassy for sure. In fact, the females are so fat that I was worried that they might be bloated. So I had a veterinarian examine them. They're not. They're just full of eggs. They're not egg bound. They're just very fecund, very fertile. So the females are breeding all the time. So these come from hobbyist breeders. There's a group of hobbyists in Europe that I'm able to source some fish from. Most of the hobbyist breeders I work with are in the United States, but in Europe there's some breeders that have some stuff that we just don't have here in the United States. And there's a group of hobbyists and basement breeders, small in-your-house type breeders, you know, in your garage type people, like most of us, that produce extra fish. And sometimes I can get fish in from them. So that's the source of these. They're hobbyist bred by some folks in Europe. And I think they're absolutely fantastic. If you like longfin neon rosy barbs, I think they're a good choice. However, if you're not married to the longfin, my favorite is these. Oh, I don't have a great picture of them. Well, that's, yeah, I don't have a great picture to show you. The, are they not up yet? Hang on. I have got to find these. Okay, I need to create another listing. I did not realize I didn't have them listed. I'm going to list very soon, now that I know that, something called a super red rosy barb. Brilliant red with dark black on the fins. That's the one that's blowing my mind, just because of how much color is on them. So the long fin neon's really nice. The long fins though don't have like the black edging as much on the fins, and that's what I really like in a rosy barb. I like a nice red fish with really stark black contrast on the fins. Well, that was a big fail on my part. I'll have to make sure those get listed. Olivia CK, do you have both male and female samurai gouramis? We do, but we can't sex them because unless the females are colored up, I can't tell the difference between the males and females. I'm sure there's some very subtle little thing, but when it's a packing day and you've got to pull tons of fish and you can't take an hour to look at the tank like you could if you were just visiting a friend's house, right? And just really look carefully, check them all. You can't do that. You have to kind of get them and move on. We make sure they're healthy. We have a health check procedure and all that. But if any fish that isn't obvious to sex, or that someone that doesn't know fish very well, or our people are all fish geeks, but not all of them know how to sex fish very well. If it's not obvious, then we don't sell them sex just because we're gonna make a mistake and we don't want that. But yes, we have both males and females, but we can't sell them sexed. Now, if you want both, leave a note at checkout. We cannot guarantee anything, but if we see like a colored up female, we'll catch her, so you have at least a female, and then we'll catch a couple brown ones, and those might be males, or those might be females that aren't colored up. But please leave us a note if that's what you want, but also let us know you understand it's not guaranteed, because otherwise we'll respond and be like, well, we can't really guarantee the sexes. Is that a deal breaker? You know, if so, let us know so we can refund your money. That's kind of how we handle those situations. So I can tell the females when they're colored up, but they're not all colored up right now. There's a couple though. Veranid guy, hey Veranid guy, it's good to hear from you. I feel like it's been a minute. And everyone, long time. Okay, it has been a minute. We moved to Arizona last summer. Life has been busy, but I wanted to know, what temp limits do you ship fish in? I ship year round. As long as there aren't any expected shipping delays due to weather and things like that, then I ship pretty much no matter what the temperatures. I use cold packs to ship to Arizona when it's super hot. We're familiar with doing that. I use heat packs when it's really cold. And very rarely there'll be a situation where I have to contact the customer and say, I don't think I can ship to you. Sometimes, I mean, I guess there are times when it's so scary that I'm like, let's just wait. It looks like it'll be cooler next week. Or if it's, if I'm super warm, wait, what is it? Oh yeah, if I'm super warm and they're going to some place that's really cold. Now that one hardly ever happens because I live in the mountains in northern Wyoming. I'm usually colder than anywhere I'm shipping to. But there's been once or twice where someone up in like Whitefish, Montana or whatever wanted fish and we were warm and they were still really cold. And I'm like, well, if I put in a heat pack, they're gonna fry on my side. If I don't put in a heat pack, they're going to freeze on their side. So we had to just wait till the weather reversed. But I can generally ship year round. We have enough heat packs and cold packs and expertise on how to do that that we usually do that. Again, there's a few exceptions. When it's 120 degrees, I'm going to be like, yeah, let's hold on. Or let's have them held at UPS so you can pick them up there and they are now, you know, on a hot truck being delivered all day. Bob Purcell, what prepared foods do you recommend for Cories and rainbows, orange Venezuelans, and Calitawas to be exact? You know, I recommend variety. I really think that variety is the key to a good diet. We rotate between, like one day we'll feed high protein foods, the next day we'll feed high veggie foods. We just try to rotate things up. Now, of course, there's fish like Tropheus that we don't feed high protein foods to. We feed those veggies and veggies only, with the exception of frozen brine shrimp occasionally. Frozen brine shrimp have enough exoskeleton, enough roughage, enough fiber that they don't tend to bloat up Tropheus. But if you feed Tropheus high protein, high fatty foods, you're probably going to have bloat in short order. So there's a few fish we don't feed as much of variety, but almost all our fish, it's a variety. So let me tell you what we're feeding here. This is not necessarily like the end-all be-all of foods. These are just foods that we're feeding now that work and we find convenient. Orange Venezuelans, we feed extreme catfish scraper, I believe they're called. It's basically like a little algae wafer. And then we also feed Hikari Massivore Delight pellets, a big like protein-rich carnivore pellet. And we like doing that because then the Cories will graze on it all day long. And that's great for them to just kind of eat a little bit for hours. They love that. Kalitawa and rainbows, we don't feed pellets or hard foods to. If you do that, rainbows can damage their mouths. I've actually had a rainbow fish that would go into seizure when I fed it Viper Bites, because it would somehow stimulate the top of its mouth when it bit down on it in such a way that it would seizure. I'm not sure exactly, but rainbow fish, you want to feed soft foods. So flakes, because as soon as they hit the water, they're instantly soak up the water and they're not going to be hard or chewy. Frozen brine shrimp are great for rainbow fish like Kalitawa. If you feed pellets, you can, but just make sure they're tiny little nano pellets. So that's my advice for rainbow fish. We feed extreme krill flake. We feed Zoomed spirulina 20, but that's not because I think that extreme krill and Zoomed spirulina 20 are the best foods ever and the only ones. It's just because those are the ones that we think are good quality, that we have access to in bulk and at a good price, and they seem to do well for the fish. But I'm not saying that they're the end-all be-all, but that's generally what we feed. We do sometimes feed extreme nano pellets, and I mean like the itty-bitty ones, to the rainbow fish. But frozen brine shrimp is also great for rainbows. Now the orange Venezuelans, in addition to the kind of algae wafer and the carnivore pellet, we also feed nano pellets. We also feed frozen bloodworms and other things, other odds and ends here and there, as a as for some variety. So let me post this. This is my affiliate link at Amazon. If you want to see the actual foods we feed, you can find them at that link. And if you purchase them there, then I get a little kickback from Amazon. So that's always appreciated. Fish Tank Barn. Hey, I hope you're doing well, Mike. I would totally go to the barbecue, but unfortunately we are on vacation. Hope all are doing well. We're doing great. And I hope you have a great time on vacation. Enjoy the wife and kids and have some fun. JTI Aquatics, thanks for all your hard work. Hey, thanks for being here and being part of the community. I wouldn't be able to do this if it wasn't for folks like you who support in one way or another. So thanks for being a member. Really appreciate it. And yeah, this has to work. I literally don't know what I'll do if it doesn't. There's nothing else I would want to do. It's just, yeah. Nope, has to work. Scotty the Fish Freak, talking about killifish. I like it. Oh, yeah, killies are my jam. By the way, for anyone that missed it, I know, I showed this last week, but just real quick, because I love them, if you'll indulge me just a moment. Here is a cool killifish. This is Aphilibius peruensis. They are a stunning South American annual from Peru. They came in great. They individually bagged all these for us. They took care of them. So we have those available, and then we also have, where's the rivulus? Oh no, don't tell me I'm bad at my job again. There it is. Rivulus ornatus. This is a non-annual killifish, kind of like South America's version of an Aphyosemion, if you will. There's the female, no color. There's the male, nice red dots, nice red on the fins, red on the upper part of the tail. So if you're into killifish, we have those, and we have a few others as well. Richard Reynolds. We bought 2 of your Amazon puffers. They are eating bloodworms fine. What were you feeding them to keep the teeth filed? So I have a whole video on that. Would one of the mods mind looking that up and posting it below? But snails is great. Crushed snails is awesome. But you can also buy oyster shell, crushed oyster shell, at any livestock supply store because they sell it for chicken grit. And it's crushed up pretty small. And you can make rapashi food. And before the rapashi cools, put some oyster shell in there, stir it up. When it hardens, you'll have this gelatin food infused with oyster shell. And as the Amazon puffers eat that, they'll crunch on the oyster shell and help wear their teeth down. But Amazon puffer teeth do grow fairly quickly. So you probably have to, like if you're feeding twice a day, you want to feed the rapashi in the morning and then feed the bloodworms at night. Or if you feed once a day, one day rapashi, next day bloodworms. To keep that in front of them so that they really, have a lot of contact with that oyster shell. Crushed snails is great as well. Now, we do occasionally have to trim our Amazon puffer teeth. It was super scary at first, but now it's like, okay, now we know what we're doing. And we're actually going to do a round of trims. I think Johnny and I were talking earlier today about probably this Friday. And depending on how everything's going, we hope to take a video of that. So we can take a video and guide you through the whole process. We aren't like expert, but we've done it enough now that we know the procedure and we're comfortable and we can show it to you. So hopefully we can help out there. Richard, it's super freaky the first time, but once you've done it, it's like, okay, I know what this is. But yeah, oyster shell and rapashi. Okay, Tracy S. Thanks. I will test the freezing before I leave. All my tanks are heavily planted. All right, that's great. Well, Tracy, good luck. I hope your vacation goes super well, and I hope you come back to healthy fish. Meg Elliott. When will you get giant bettas back in stock? My boy needs a girlfriend. I hate to crush your hopes and dreams, but I don't plan on bringing any more bettas back in stock soon. Not male betta splendens. We'll have wild type bettas, and we'll have sororities of female betta splendens, but probably not the males. And the reason is we used to do that and it worked great. Like back when we were in our old facility in my garage and my basement and only had like a, I don't know, 100 something tanks. It was manageable. At this scale, it's hard to do because we can put 1 male betta per tank, right? And if the fish in the tank with the betta sell, then we have to find a new tank for that betta. So we're playing like musical bettas all the time. And some of our bettas might have been in 3 or 4 tanks by now, and I just don't like that. I don't like doing that to the betta. I mean, they're hardy. You move them to the new tank and they like settle in right away, but still it's not ideal. And it's more work for us to prepare for the incoming shipments and things. So until we get like, I'm not sure if we'll do this, but if we were to do bettas again, I think we would need like a dedicated betta system to do it. In the meantime, I would recommend maybe checking out KT Tropicals at keepfishkeeping.com. I know that Lisa's doing a lot of bettas. I've never bought from them, so I'm not sure, what I can't say they'll always come in healthy or any of that. I don't control any of that, but I think they have a pretty good reputation in the hobby, and I think they'll take care of you if anything goes wrong. I think they're decent people, so KG Tropicals is what I would recommend. And the other thing with bettas is really in order to do it, you have to get like a picture of every individual betta you're selling and make a separate listing for each betta and all that. And I could do all that work for a listing for 1 betta, or I could do all that work for a tank full of fish. And in the tank full of fish, there might be I don't know, $500 to $1,000 worth of fish in one tank. Whereas the betta might be, what, 25 to maybe $70 is a really expensive fancy strain of betta. Um, and so it's the same amount of work, but from the business side, is it worth it? Like if you're doing it for a $50 betta and you have to do it every time there's a new betta, you have to get the picture, you have to upload the picture, you have to make the listing. You know, that gets difficult when you're at scale. So that's the reason. Well, that's another of the reasons. Okay, Jacob Metzner, I think is the next one. Yes, indeed. What do you recommend when it comes to feeding earthworms to large cichlids? Buy them from a bait shop? I've never bought them from a bait shop. I'm not saying that that's bad or not, but I've definitely seen some funky worms at bait shops that had like they infused them with like some glowy substance to make them more attractive to the trout or whatever. So I'm sure there's bait shops that sell worms that are just worms, good old organic, old-fashioned worms, right? In which case, sure. But what I would do is I'd go here. eBay or Amazon. And you can buy lots of worms for, I think, much less expensive than you could get them from a bait shop. So that's what I would do. I'd probably go here and buy a whole bunch directly from the worm farms. I think it's more bang for your buck. Of course, if you only need 5, you know, it's like, I got 500 worms. I need 5. What am I going to do with these? Guess I'll go eat worms. Killer Kitty, not Curl Kitty. Oh, 08, throwing down a $3 super chat saying, my hero. Well, hey, you gave me $3, so you're my hero. Thanks so much for the super chat. Always appreciated, never required, but every bit helps. Lizzie LaBelle, I have been on the hunt for the eel tail marble banjo catfish. Can't seem to find them anymore in the fish world. Those eel tail cats are beautiful. If I ever find a small species that comes from a decent supplier at a price that I think makes sense for the market, that's the type of fish I'd want to bring in. The one, I mean, this is just an aside. I know these are not at all the same, but we do have a funky catfish right now. It's the black lancer catfish. These are amazing. They're such a neat fish. The mouth looks kind of like the mouth of a mammarid, like a down-pointed, fleshy little protrusion. So I'm pretty sure that in the wild, they're digging through mulm and stuff looking for worms. Such a unique fish, and yeah, I like unique catfish too. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Orange cones. I did a rescape of the tank that my dwarf anchor catfish are in. I remember buying 5 from you, but now I have 11. Breeding is pleasure, even by accident. Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks, Orange Cones, for letting me know they're doing well. And by the way, sorry about the Farawella pics. As soon as I emailed you this morning, I was working on that, and then something came up. I had to stop and go take care of it. So I will try again tomorrow. In fact, I'm going to write myself a note right now, so it's on my radar tomorrow. So Orange Cones was nice enough to send me pictures of the brood stock of the fish that we have for sale. I guess let me show you these. Although, do I have pictures? I don't think I do. Because we don't really clean that tank, because we want all the algae in it so the Farawella can eat well. So we don't scrub the tank, so I don't have a picture. That's why I need the pictures from Orange Cones. But Orange Cones bred and raised a bunch of Farawella vittata. And we know they're vittata because she took them to, what, Purdue University, did you say? And got that checked. So they are Farawella vittata, according to the experts at the university. And she bred and raised these. And we bought a bunch from her, and now we're selling her stock. She was nice enough to send us pictures of her brood stock And I've been a bad boy, and I still haven't got them posted, but I will. I will. Killers, Aquatics, and Reptiles, questions at Dan's Fish at, highlight as Dan's Fish. Yes, so when you do that, as directed by Killers, Aquatics, and Reptiles, thanks, Bob, you'll notice this bright orange box, or as JT did, bright orange box, or as Lil Dark Arts did, bright orange box. So when I'm scrolling down the chat here looking for stuff to reply to, I'm skipping all this stuff and just looking for bright orange boxes. Because if it's not bright and orange, I imagine it's people like Rico Stan just saying hiya to Amisa, who's saying hiya at Rico, right? And then you're chatting among yourselves. So I look for the at Dan's Fish bright orange boxes because then I know you're trying to get my attention. If I weren't to do that, I would spend like a lot of time just reading random chat as people talk amongst themselves, which I want people to do. We're a community. Let's make it stronger by interacting, right? Let's strengthen those bonds. But it would be very boring television, and the podcast would be nigh unlistenable because there would be so much dead air. So instead, I jump from orange to orange to orange because I know those are meant for me. The downside of that is, as you just saw, every now and then the chat jumps to the bottom because it gets so far behind, it's like, oh, I can't, and it jumps. In which case, sometimes it doesn't let me scroll up far enough to see everything that it jumped past. But I'm going to try. Nope, the next one I can see is Passing Wind. Sounds like a personal problem to me. Have you ever thought about getting a moose puppet as a sidekick? I don't know why, but I'm getting Captain Kangaroo vibes. Well, I hadn't thought about it till now, and now I bet I won't be able to stop thinking about it. Passing Wind. Okay, Brian Gillespie. Can you recommend a Cory to breed in hard water? I'm losing all my eggs to hard water, I think. Well, I think Corydoras aeneas and Corydoras paleatus can be bred and raised in pretty much any water, even hard water. So I've done them in both. So I'd recommend starting with those. If you're trying those and you're not having luck, then I don't know. Like, those are the ones that I think would have the best chance. In which case, maybe you need to breed in soft water or incubate the eggs in soft water. But I would try Aeneas and Paleatus. And we have both in stock right now. We have Corydoras Aeneas, the true ones from Trinidad. And we also have Paleatus, the long fin variety. Not the regular one, but we do have the long fins right now. Okay, Doki. Cichlids23, how you doing? Would you say hello to your lady for me? Did I hear Bob say that you were ordering more rainbow shiners and those Lake Tanganyika and killifish sometime next week? Yes. So I think we have like 2 Lamprichthys tanganyikinus left, the Lake Tanganyika and killies. If they're not listed, they will be later this week. And I did order more. Now, the thing about that fish is the last 2 times I've ordered it, I think the last 2 times, or maybe 2 out of 3, it has arrived. I have a good supplier for them. However, for 8 months before that, it did not arrive. So I've ordered more. They should arrive next week. If they show up. You know, I can't control that. So I'm trying, yes. And we do have another batch of rainbow shiners that we'll be listing fairly soon, yes. Ginger Graves, singing and getting 3 or 5 of the dwarf red-tailed eels. Yeah, we've got at least that. Let's see here. There are 83 available right now. So we've definitely got you covered. Let's see, make sure. DJ Sus. Do the red-tailed eels play nice with South American cichlids? Yes, but I don't know if the South American cichlids would play nice with the eels. Also have stir-bite cories in there as well. That is hard to say. You know, I thought Severums were peaceful until I had some tear into some super red crebensis. Festivum can be a bit nippy. Electric blue cara normally peaceful, but I have seen them tear into other fish as well on occasion. I mean, they're peaceful for cichlids. So I think that if there was enough like caves and hidey holes and places for the eels to call their own and have a nice little habitat to escape if they needed to, and if the eels were large enough, ours are the biggest one's probably 3 inches, right? Once they're about 6 inches or so, then probably, of course, the way I would do it is I would put the eels in the tank first, make sure they're all established, know where their little territories are, and they get the lay of the land, leave them in there for a few weeks, and then I would add the cichlids in, is how I would personally do it. So I think that it could happen, but I think there's some risk. I would definitely have a plan B. So yeah, I think it could happen. Alrighty. Bryce got a tree of African butterfly cichlids, and they're doing amazing. 2 males and 1 female. Oh, I'm so glad we were able to get you at least one of each sex. Glad to hear they're doing well. Excellent, Bryce. Thanks for letting us know. Sorry, my eye just started itching. Woo. Like, it would not be ignored. I know every mother in here is like, don't touch your eye. FB, Wush FB, you're the GOAT. I've been called worse. Do the small gold-eyed cichlids jump? I've never had them jump. I have a big lowboy feeder thingy, and I was looking into indoor pond thing. Any other suggestions? Well, any fish can jump, even cories. Very rarely, but it can happen. But I think the golden-eyed cichlids are as safe a bet as any. I don't think they're prone to jumping at all. They tend to stay, closer to the bottom third of the aquarium. So, yeah, I would try that. Now, of course, now that I say that, you'll be the 0.5% situation on the bell curve where they jump for some reason. That'll be just our luck, right? But that's something I would try. I wouldn't consider those jumpers. Meg Elliott, thank you very much. I really appreciate all your advice. My betta is a giant piebald candy. Ooh, that sounds pretty. I love bettas already and just discovered the giants this year. Yep. Bettas are awesome. 4-inch bettas, awesome as well. Brody's bettas. I agree with you. I might be switching primarily to killifish if these go well. All right. Now, they're my favorite, have been forever. Christy McFarland. I love my Black Knight betta. However, I understand how hard it is to get a good picture of him. Yeah. Oh, especially a black betta, and all our tanks are painted black on the back and sides and bottom. So black betta, black background. Good luck as it swims all around. Yeah. But yeah, bettas are super fun pets. They're amazing. Bob Purcell, do you have any non-fish pets or desire to keep any? Well, we do have 2 cats, and I really enjoyed them. We've had various things over the years. As a kid, I kept and bred all kinds of reptiles. I used to have different kinds of birds. When I was 13, no, it was before I built the fish room, so I must have been 12. I built an aviary in my backyard. I just had some scrap lumber and some scrap wire and put it together and kept birds out in the backyard. Used to breed cockatiels. My whole life, animals have been fascinating to me. Whether it was walking out in the woods behind our house and turning over logs and rocks and seeing little ring-tailed snakes or all the little insects and things. That was always fascinating. The local creek fascinated me. I just spent whole days there just observing stuff and seeing all the critters and all the, ecology. So that and keeping pets as well. we grew up on kind of a homestead, so we had chickens, we had goats, we had rabbits, ducks, geese, like, you know, all that stuff. So I just grew up loving animals. I would rather be screwing around with animals than watching television. That was how weird I was about it. And that love never went away. And the one type of animal, several have come and gone over the years, but the one that has held my attention the most is the fish. And after 30 years of that or so, I don't think that's going to change. So, yeah, like them all. Can you speak about snakeskin barbs? Would you ever bring them in? If we're talking about the same one, snakeskin barbs, like the little ones with the kind of look like figure eight barbs almost. Yeah, I love these guys. Sure. So, tricky thing with these is if I remember correctly, these come from Blackwater. Is that right? Seriously, fish, help me out. Ecology is, yeah, Borneo. So I'm guessing peat swamps. Yes, so these are Blackwater habitats. All right. So in my experience with these and some of the other barbs that are similar has been they're amazing, they're hardy, they're peaceful, they're colorful, they don't get too big. Great aquarium fish, provided that the supply chain is correct. So it's all about supply chain on these. If you get them and they've gone through a supply chain that cares and treats them with respect and has transitioned them to our aquarium water, which is generally quite hard and alkaline, they're probably going to thrive for you. If they went through a supply chain that did not treat them properly, they're probably not, and there's probably nothing that can be done to help them. Fish from those blackwater environments, those environments are so acidic that they just don't have any exposure to ammonia, because ammonia can't exist in acidic environments. It's converted to ammonium in acidic environments. And a lot of the bacteria and stuff can't live in acid. So those environments are not sterile, but void of many of the different organisms that live in hard alkaline water. So you take a fish from that, you put it in hard alkaline water, it's stressed because it's been traveling through this supply chain that hasn't respected it, and you put it in that water, it's already stressed, so its immune system's compromised, and if you don't treat it properly, it's not going to recover and do well. So I think they're awesome. I think it's all about supply chain on that fish. And would I ever bring them in? Yes, I would love to. The problem is, every time I bring in barbs, they don't sell. I'm with Mike Mongi on this. Mike Mongi has a Facebook group called What About Barbs? Because there's some of the least popular fish out there. I shouldn't say that. They're more popular than a lot of fish, but they're readily available and no one buys them. Like, I have a hard time. I had melon barbs for a long time. Took forever to sell them. I had black ruby barbs. Spectacular fish. Took a long time to sell them. Odessa barbs I still bring in occasionally because it does make business sense. They're amazing. And the word of mouth has gotten out about Odessa barbs, and so they sell fast enough to justify it. But after this next batch of Odessa barbs sells that's currently listed, I'm probably not going to bring them in for a few months because this batch is going slower than the previous couple batches. I love drape fin barbs. I like those enough that I think I can sell those because they're my all-time favorite barb. But like, I brought in checkered barbs. They're amazing. They don't sell. I brought in Pentazon barbs. I love them. Same kind of thing, similar to snakeskin barbs in a lot of ways and a lot of requirements. Hard to sell. Filament barbs, couldn't move them. So I love barbs, but I'm running a business and I can't bring fish in that aren't going to sell because I'll go out of business. So that's the tricky part. I like to describe myself as a professional hobbyist, but that professional part keeps me from bringing in some stuff that, as just a pure hobbyist, I would love to, but I can't. Okay, I'm scrolling because Veranda guy said something and chat jumped. How rude, chat. Was it? It's about to read it and chat said, There it is. Our water's TDS is really high. I run it through a dual carbon block to get all the nasties out, and I really wanted to try using our tap, but it's concerning. Any thoughts? Do you know what the TDS is made out of? Do you know what your KH and GH is? So I'm assuming you have hard alkaline water. I have no experience with chloramine. I've never lived in a location with chloramine. So I don't remember if carbon block filters are effective against chloramine. I think they would be, but I don't know for sure. So let's say if you have chloramine, I don't know. You'd have to find out if carbon block filters are effective. If you don't have chloramine, then I would do it. Yeah, I would run it through a dual carbon block and use that tap water. I've done that in lots of different places and it's worked well. I would not do massive water changes all at once though. So how I had the system set up at the house was we ran the city water, right, municipal drinking water, through the dual carbon block filters. Well, first we heated it and got it to the right temperature. Then it went through the dual carbon block filters, and then it went right into the tanks. But we did small amounts. So we would do like, I don't know, an inch. We would put in an inch of fresh water because it was just a flow-through system. And then we would wait a couple hours. Then we would put in another inch of fresh water, and we would wait a couple hours. And we would do that 3-4 times a night. And so you're doing these small water changes with big intervals in between so that water you put in can kind of gas off and not give the fish the bends, and everything can kind of stabilize a little bit. And then after a couple hours, we put in a little bit more, and that's how we did that. I would not have a system of fresh tap water that is running through carbon blocks or whatever and do large, massive water changes with them suddenly. I think that could be a problem. But if you do it a bit at a time, then it works great for me. All right, we've got Killers Aquatics and Reptiles. Oh, wow, did I win the Gold Cup? Looks like I did. Thanks, Bob. I really appreciate you. And that must mean it's almost time for the giveaway. So we'll get to the giveaway momentarily. There's 363 folks here. Hey, that's good. I wasn't even watching that. Thanks for being here, folks. Thanks for spending some of your Wednesday night with us. I apologize for the video and the audio tonight. My good camera decided to stop working like literally just a few minutes before we went live. And so I had to switch to this cheap little Logitech, kind of clip-on desktop camera. But we'll try to get that good camera working again. I think my cam link might have burned out. No, because we still had audio. Well, maybe the video part of it did. I don't know. But anyway, apologize that it's not as good as usual, but hopefully it's still been fun. Candy! Candy Overhauls! I'm so happy for your success. Much love. I miss you. Right back to you, lady. Mwah. Hope you're doing fantastic. So good to hear from you. Cichlids23, we love you, Dan. All right. Mwah. Right back at you. Thanks. Appreciate you both. All right. Time for a giveaway. This is for a group of these amazing super blue Kerri Tetras. Here's my picture. It doesn't do them justice because the blue here looks kind of dull and faded because of the lights and the angle. I would say if you're looking at them from the side and you have a decent light on your tank, that this is a true representation of the nice blue they get. This is too. Yeah, good on you, Shrimp King. That, I would say, Chris Luca did a good picture. This looks exactly right. That doesn't look like it's over photoshopped or any of that. Nice blue. And then this is an old one that's developed some nice red finish. Anyway, stunning, stunning fish. There are 263 eligible folks, and the winner is, that's the DIY drum roll, Spindrift Aquatics, not to be confused with what Spendthrift. Spindrift Aquatics, you have won. You have 2 minutos, 2 minutes to chime in and let us know you're here, because you do have to be present to win. So you have until, it's 8:21 now, in probably a few seconds. Let's see. So we'll give you till 8:24, and then if you have not chimed in by then, Spindrift, you forfeit your winnings and we will draw someone else. So get over here, rush in, let us know you're here. There you are, Spindrift Aquatics is here. You have won. Congratulations. If you would send us an email to hello@dansfish.com. That's HELLO@dansfish.com. We need your first name, we need your last name, and we need your mailing address. We need to know who we're sending it to and where to send it. We will get back with you. We'll set up the shipping date with you and send you some amazing little tetras. Thanks for participating. Appreciate it. We've got just a few more minutes to kill, so let's kill them. One last thing, riffing on Branded Guy's comment about their TDS is really high. TDS is hard to know because it measures everything in the water, basically. It measures your calcium, it measures your magnesium, but it'll also measure, I don't know, potassium. It'll measure, what else? Lead, salt, just sodium chloride. It might measure like detritus and things like that. Solid material in the water is what it measures. What's more helpful is to know how much calcium carbonate you have. That's one of the metrics that I think is more dialed in, because without that, we just know you have stuff in your water. But that's an aside for folks when you're really digging in, trying to figure out your water. I think chlorine is also part of the TDS measurement, if I remember right. Del Cantrell, will you be attending Aquashell at Daytona in November? If they invite me to speak, yeah, but no, I don't have any plans to do that at this time, and I'm sure they've already got their speaker roster all figured out, but no, I don't have any plans to do that. I'm not saying I won't, but as of today, I'm not planning on it. Oh, that'd be nice to get out of Wyoming in November, though, wouldn't it? Woo. Rico Stan, hello right back at you, my friend. Hope the evil Santa Claus is alive and well. Andy Carson, back in the day, pearl gouramis were easily available. In the past few years, I haven't seen many available. Have they just become less desirable? No, I think people love them. I think it's been harder and harder to get them healthy. So, gouramis are one of those fish that is plagued by a virus, and it's very common. And so I've tried several suppliers, and besides maybe hobbyist breeders, I've yet to find an industry supplier that I can count on for healthy pro gouramis. That's why I haven't sold them in a long time. However, I've come across a new supplier out of Israel. I've seen a lot of footage about several of the farms in Israel and how they run things. And so I am trying a group of pro gouramis from Israel right now. Hopefully they do well. If they do, if I can establish that as a healthy source, then I will probably have pro gouramis more often than not. So me, it's just haven't found anywhere on the supply chain where I can routinely get good ones from. Alrighty. Curtis Ramsey, any idea how many gallons of water pass through your tanks per hour? I'd have to calculate that. I really don't know off the top of my head. I used to, like when we were getting everything set up and crunched and dialed in, yeah, we did all that, but it's been so long I don't even know. Yeah. Sorry, it's a bad answer. A lot. Just for 69, do you guys think a pair of guppies is good enough to start a breeding project? Or is it better to have more for more genetics? I think it's always better to have more for more genetics, but if you're getting more from the same brood, right, and they've all been line bred for a few generations, they're likely to be fairly similar, even if you have like 6. I mean, there'll be a little diversity, so that's always better. But I think you can kick off a breeding project for guppies with a pair, and then after a couple generations, you might need to bring in some new blood from another breeder. Maybe you swap some fish or something, but could you start with them? Sure. Sure, absolutely. Florida fish chick, that's what I'm thinking the FL means. Do you think you will ever get any Bulgarian seal point angels in? Yes, I like that one a lot. Angels are tricky though. Um, they don't sell super quickly for us because angels are a fish that you can get at almost any store, even big box pet stores, right? Now I realize Bulgarian seal points are not something you can always get at big box fish stores or pet shops. I get that. Those are a little more specialized. So yeah, I do want to bring more in. It's frustrating though when you bring those in and you pay the price for those because they're expensive, and then like let's say you bring in 100 of them, maybe 50 of them have the real seal point markings, and the other ones are nice fish, but it's like great, I paid for seal points, and now I can't even sell half of these as seal points. So I've tried them a few times. I've yet to find a supplier where I can order 100 of them and get 100 of them. So it's been a little frustrating. But yes, that's a fish I like a lot. People like, and I might bring in again if I can get them at a price that makes sense. Like by the time we've done everything we need to with them, they're really expensive. We're quite a bit more expensive than other stores. And so, you know, it's that makes it harder for us to sell, and they don't move as quickly as we would like. One more and we're shutting it down because it is 8:28. Wow, we did the giveaway and lost 100 people. I guess that stands to reason. So for everyone that stuck around, thank you very much. One of these days, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do a giveaway of a fish, a nice fish, but nothing too expensive. And then when that's done and everyone's left, I'm going to do the secret giveaway, and it's going to be like some mind-blowing, rare, amazing, or expensive fish. Just to reward you guys that stick around. The folks that are in it for real. I'm going to do that sometime. Okay, Brian, what can we do to help a female guppy struggling in labor? I just lost my female after 5 days of struggling. Ooh, most babies died, but 8 survived. Oh, it's not Bri, it's Bree. I'm sorry. Bree, forgive me. Bree, I wish I knew what to tell you. The question is what's causing the struggle, right? What's causing the labor to be difficult? So there's tons of things that could be making that happen, Bree, and we would have to kind of try to identify which one to really help that fish. But here's what I will say. If you can take a guppy that's struggling and give them a very low stress environment, the best thing to do would be remove the other fish from the tank. So she doesn't have to go through the transfer to a new tank, but she's not being outcompeted by any fish, or, you know, male guppies aren't trying to breed with her while she's struggling to give birth. Like male guppies, they never stop, right? So give her a place where she can be stress-free and not harassed. And then I would say add salt. 5 grams per liter is what I would probably do, just to take some of the osmotic stress off of her, and it kind of acts as a tonic. Now, if you have a planted tank, that's difficult, but we're talking in an ideal scenario there. Here, I mean, a place where she can be stress-free and have 5 grams per liter of salt in the water. And without knowing the specific thing that's causing the issue, that's as far as I think I can go with that. Now, here's the big disclaimer that I always have to say. I'm not a veterinarian. I will be working with one later this week, which is exciting, but I'm not a veterinarian. I don't know a lot of things, but I'm just telling you, if I was in that situation, what I would try for my own fish. And Bree, I'm so sorry to hear that you lost her, and I hope those 8 babies do well and grow up and her legacy continues. All right. With that, it's 8:31, so it's time to sign off. Sorry we signed off on a bit of a bummer, but, you know, it is what it is. I'd like to thank my moderators for being here and doing the mod thing. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. I'd like to thank all my members. Super appreciated. That money every month is so helpful. Thank you so much. Okay, everyone that was active in the chat, thanks for participating. If you were lurking, all hail the Lurker Nation. I'm with you. I'm with you a lot. Everyone who's watching the replay, hello from the past. And if you're listening on the podcast, that means I finally got, like, I think we're, 8 episodes behind? I finally got these 8 episodes loaded up, and I'm glad you're listening. Anyway, we'll be back next time, same bat time, same bat channel, hopefully with a good camera and better audio. Until then, I sincerely hope you have a good one. Bye-bye, everybody.